Before we get to the schedule, and you got a big match coming up on Saturday against Georgia, how were the holidays for you and your family?
They were good. They were good. We were here. It was very low key. A lot of time at the barn.
Yeah.
That's where my kids want to be.
Right.
So it was really good.
Your kids not only are okay with that, they want to be there.
They do.
Huh?
They do.
That's good.
They enjoy it.
You got some good help there.
We do. We take advantage.
Good. When over the holidays, when the student athletes are gone, is it all you to take care of the horses, or?
It's not. We've got a full-time bar manager and some part-time, some temp workers who work with us. But the coaches pick up a lot of the load of keeping the horses conditioned, medical management, things like that. But in terms of like the feeding, the daily care, and things like that, our same crew still does it through the holidays.
I got you. Very good. Because that, they got to eat, they got to be taken care of, and everything.
Every day of the year.
Holidays or not. Great. How, before we talk about the spring schedule, how did the fall go for you? What were some of the highlights from the fall?
You know, I think the fall, we saw internally a lot more results than you saw externally. And so I know it's hard. You know, you look at it on paper, you look at the statistics, and it looks like we really struggled in the fall. But there was a lot of progression, really, really young squad, predominantly made up of sophomores and a lot of freshmen who are out there competing, you know, right now. And so we saw a lot of progress. We saw a lot of really big digging, you know, from our student athletes, really great work ethic. And so I think they're it came at a great time. Break came at a great time to just let them take a break, walk away from it, and they came back incredibly hungry, ready to roll. So this semester is going to be really exciting.
That's good. That's what you'd want, right? Get
Absolutely.
a break, get refreshed, come back raring to go.
Absolutely.
And then hit it this Saturday, as we mentioned, against Georgia. A really good team coming in.
Absolutely. It's going to be a strong one, tough one to start with, but everybody on our schedule has been hard this semester, so there's really not been any soft opponent, you know, or anything like that. Competition is going to get better as you go through the spring semester, so we'll be ready.
Good. What does your home schedule look like in the spring?
Just we'll start this Saturday with Georgia. March 1st we'll play TCU, and that'll finish our regular season streak. That'll also be senior day for our team, and then we host Big 12 championship end of March.
Oh, great. That's great. Fun to have that here, isn't it?
It is. Nice to have it at home, have all the athletes be able to participate in it. A lot of fans, so it'll be really good to be back here. Last time we hosted it was during COVID, so it's kind of the untraditional hosting of a championship. It'll be nice to host it full scale. Right.
That'll be fun. Put that on the calendar. With the new Big 12, the new schools coming into the Big 12, how does that affect your sport?
None of them have equestrian at the moment, but definitely kind of keeping it on the radar of, is there an opportunity for them to add in the future? I mean, it'd be great. Always trying to get other schools to add equestrian, and so, you know, if there's a conference affiliation, that's great. A great push to help them, you know, if they need to add a sport.
Good. I would think you come into a league and you say, oh, you know, here's some sports that schools in the Big 12 have that we, the new schools, don't have yet. They might look at that, maybe look favorably at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we hope.
I know it's expensive to start a sport, a new sport like that, but hopefully that might happen.
Absolutely. And some of them, you know, a lot of times there's not a huge startup cost if maybe you already have an ag program, a club program at your school, you know, and you already have some of those costs already underway. Maybe it's not the huge overhaul to take the step into the NCAA, as it might be for someone who starts from nothing.
Right, from scratch. How are things at the Willis Family Equestrian Center? I haven't been out there in a while.
It's very wet right now.
Very
it's
wet, right.
Going good. I cannot complain about the rain, but we are underwater.
Oh, I
so
bet.
Grateful to be in a covered indoor dry arena this weekend. But yeah, a lot of rain, and so just doing our best to keep horses clean. And at this point, I'm just glad it's not frozen anymore. So
That's true. You went through that, didn't you?
We did, and that is an experience. It's kind of like we talked about. The horses eat every day of the year, and they still eat when the ground's frozen or the ice is down or the pipes are busting. They're still hungry.
So.
What
were the challenges getting through that?
It's always pipes. It's always that. You know, and then luckily we didn't get a lot of ice, but when we do, it's the hardship of who can travel in to help and make sure everything's taken care of. So it's the benefit of having someone on site who lives there, but it's a lot of heavy lifting for, you know, the people who can make it in and who will endure the weather for those couple of days. So.
And the covered arena, is it okay? I mean, does it, if it rains as much as we've had, does it ever affect that?
No, that will stay dry. It'll be great. It's usually a little cold in there. Honestly, it kind of holds that humidity, but it's a dry space to work in, so I'm not complaining.
Okay. Just the outdoors, the one that's sloshy.
currently a lake.
Oh,
So,
man, I bet that's right.
yes.
So Saturday you can't use that for anything, or would it be dry enough to use on Saturday?
We will not probably be in it for at least a week. We need
Really?
some sun and some wind. With as
Golly.
much rain as we've had, it'll be a while.
Does that affect your schedule on
It
Saturday?
affects, no, yes and no. We always have a backup plan to move into one arena, and we did that in the fall. We played all in one arena in the fall as well, and so there's always a good plan for that. It adds about an hour onto our day, so it's not a huge stretch. It doesn't double our time by any means. Honestly, our team likes being all inside for competition day because you can see every ride from start to finish versus being split into two arenas. And so for us, there's some benefit to it. You want to move through it as quickly as possible from a fan standpoint, but internally from a team standpoint, they really enjoy being in the indoor arena and being able to share everything with each other.
Yeah,
so.
Very good. All right, let's talk about your team this year, the makeup of your team. We'll take a break and be back with more about that.
Perfect.
Talking Baylor Equestrian with Coach Casie Maxwell. We're glad you're with us live from Rudy's. Thanks to our host here at Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. We'll be right back after this.
Baylor alumni are more than...
I don't know why. It's just got like 2-second delay every time I hit it. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. It wasn't even, it was I mean, it has a slight delay, but both times I've hit it, it's just like, wait.
Right on it. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been hitting it on time. It's just, I don't know what it's doing.
So get connected. Get involved. Learn how at baylor.edu/alumni.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. You pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB Your Bank for Life. Member FDIC.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your Cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
And back live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco, our Baylor Coaches Show this evening, visiting now with Baylor Equestrian coach Casie Maxwell. Thanks to Rudy's, a proud sponsor of Baylor Equestrian and men's basketball and Baylor athletics in general. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Thanks to our great partners and hosts here at Rudy's. All right, for Coach Casie Maxwell, we got a couple of questions from the audience. This is our First Place Foods Ask the Coach. This is perfect. This was what I was going to ask you next. So let's go to Roy right here. Roy Evans, front and center. What is the makeup of your team? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, et cetera.
Relatively young right now. We have 18 to 20 in both our freshman and sophomore classes, so that's a larger makeup of our team. We currently have 60 women on the roster, and so that remaining third is in our junior and senior class. 3 fifth years that are back with us this year. So, like I said, it is really a young group.
60 total?
60 total.
Wow, is that up?
It is. Well, we hit 62. I had 2 graduate in December, and then we added some. So we've done some exchanging around, but we've hit the 62 mark this year. But we're usually around 60, 61. So it's a lot of young women.
I know it is a lot. I don't know why I was thinking it was more like 45, but I was way off.
I would not argue if it was.
Right. Got to have 60, so that's good. Tell us about some of the individuals on your team. How about Lauren Reed in fences?
Yeah, she's been outstanding this year. And it's been her story through the fall has been outstanding. Didn't start real strong against Texas A&M. She's really pretty a reliable competitor and didn't have a strong moment there, and it was kind of a make or break it moment. And she said, "This is not what this year is going to look like." And so from there, it just climbed uphill and got to watch her have those Rider of the Month honors in November. She's vocal. She's a leader. She works her tail off. She's just one of those you really want around you as a student athlete, just great energy and stuff. And so to see her hard work and that energy pay off in the show pen, it's just been outstanding.
Good. Where's she from?
Don't
Sorry
ask
about
me
that.
Question.
Okay.
Too many of them to remember.
That's true. You do have 60. And Kaylee with Athletic Communications tells me you got 5 first-time starters for reigning this year. That kind of speaks to how young your team is.
It is. It's a whole new squad. I graduated 6 seniors last year off the reigning squad, and so this year we've got a sophomore in there, a junior. She's a transfer, so she's new to us, and then 3 freshmen who are in there playing. And we've been mixing up the roster. I've got 5 freshmen in total on my team, and they've all been kind of mixing in there and kind of getting a taste of it. So it's been neat to watch them grow.
Good. All right, tell me about Riley, and help me pronounce her last name.
Casie.
Casie? All right, tell me about Riley Casie.
She is she's a fierce
No matter which.
She's a very fierce competitor. She is really neat to work with, wants to be coached up. She's come from a great background. She's one of those when she walks in and you think she's going to find her way. She's going to be fine. She actually wants you to coach her more. She wants to be better every single day. And they're not all like that. And so she's been really neat to work with and help her adjust to the college model. Just like I said, a fierce competitor, wants to win, wants to put in the work to get there, wants to analyze everything. So really enjoyed working with her. She's kind of working out those kinks as a freshman, when you get thrown in there. And so she's going to be absolutely fierce as she sits out here her 4 years.
Very good. That's fun. That'll be fun to watch. And Kalina Reynolds, is she another freshman?
She's a sophomore. She didn't. Yeah, okay. She redshirted last year. Just kind of sat and waiting and waited for those seniors to graduate. And so she's personally a really fun one to work with for me. I've known her whole life and watched her grow up. And so to see it come full circle and her come ride for me now has been really neat.
Wow.
But another just really fierce competitor, really analyzes everything. Wants to put in the extra work. And so it was really nice for her last year to kind of she knew she was going to redshirt, just kind of have the peace of mind to just figure it out, be a good teammate. And then this year she's been able to hit the ground running.
So. That's a plus, isn't it, if you have that luxury?
It is. It's hard to get thrown in there as a freshman. You're still trying to kind of figure everything out, figure the horses out, figure the system out. Now you've got to go compete too. So it's a lot of pressure on them. It is a bonus if you can kind of get in there for even a couple of months and have a transition semester, but it doesn't happen for all of them.
Right. Some of your returnees, names people may recognize, is it pronounced Dominica Silvestri?
Yes.
She's back, and she's has to be one of your top riders.
She is back, year 5, a wealth of experience that comes with her. We told her story a week or so ago. We did a different interview, and just kind of watching her be in the roster, off the roster, on the bench, and just kind of in and out her freshman and sophomore year to now being like one of our biggest competitors in 2 events, and this standout year that she had last year and being able to come back again has just been awesome. She's really doing a really good job of enjoying her 5th year and just kind of taking it all in.
Boy, that's fun. And then Maddie Voorhees. Maddie is back also, another one of your veterans.
Yeah, another 5th year, another one that's just really fun to work with. We have her sister on the team too, so we've got the whole family. So just really grateful to have both of them back and their leadership, and they're student athletes who are in 2 events for us, and so they get to lead kind of half the squad, if you will.
How about that? Is this a sport that maybe sort of lends itself to families? Like I would think a family that is into equestrian maybe has horses. If there's younger siblings, I would think they might follow like Maddie and her sister.
Sometimes I think you see one extreme or the other. You see the family get into it, or you see someone get into it and they say, I do not want to do this, and they're doing something completely different.
Right.
And so it's interesting. We've got 2 sets of sisters on the team right now. So 3 sets of sisters on the team right now. So it's really neat to kind of watch it have come through their family. And I think, especially when they get to this level collegiately, we watch them when we recruit them. Some people are like, we've competed together our whole life. We want to go somewhere different and do our own thing. And then some people really want to come together and be a part of this together. I know that makes it easier on their parents to visit one school as opposed to 2, but we certainly enjoy it having the sisters with us.
That's great. What is your give us the elevator recruiting pitch for Baylor Equestrian?
Oh gosh. On the spot.
What are the things that are highlights of your program that you would bring up to a recruit, trying to get them to come here?
Yeah, big things that we'll hit on is support staff from the athletic department. I mean, huge. The entire SACE team, character formation, and the resources that are poured into them, huge for us. Another big benefit that we feel like Baylor as a whole encompasses is just the support that they get from the academic side. So not only do they get that student-athlete support, which is really a bonus, but on the campus side, the support from their professors, either advisors, and things like that, the small class size, more of the intimate learning environment. We really push that a lot because a lot of our majors who come through here are like business, engineering, some kind of sciences. They want to go on to postgraduate programs, and they need that that high-level support. So I think that's really, really important. Big sell for us, team-wise, is location proximity of our facility to campus.
I bet.
Because when you're looking at having horse property, sometimes it's 20 or 30 minutes away from campus, and so the commute that student athletes on different teams have to have can really, really weigh into their daily life, and so that's really huge for us. So those are some of the high points for sure.
That's very good. Sign me up. That's a good pitch.
Okay.
Very good, and all very true, very factual. And I would think, for student athletes looking at a school and their parents looking at it, I think all those would be very much in Baylor's favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. All right, here's another question from it's from Bob on the Brazos. Bob asked, why do you always get on a horse on the left side?
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Oh, really?
I should probably know the answer to that. It's one of those things that's like people have always done it, so this is why you do it.
Yeah.
I think your tack and equipment gets cinched up from that side, so you're always on that left side, and you're adjusting, and you're making sure your saddle's tight, and so you stay on that side and work the horse from that side first and foremost. I think that's kind of where it starts. So everything's just kind of aligned itself that way over time.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, leave it to Bob to think of a question like that.
That's a good question. I'm probably going to go look up the actual historical answer now. So.
I think you've probably got it right because you're cinching it up on that side. You're already on that left side.
You are.
But it's universal, isn't it?
It is. It's universal.
To get on to saddle up on the left side.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, Bob. Good question. Very good. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Great national, in fact, Hall of Fame honors for Baylor Equestrian recently. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco, visiting with Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian coach, and we'll be right back after this.
The Toyota Tundra is the perfect way to navigate it. On your path, you're your own boss. Set your own hours.
Look at that sunrise.
That's a good
You may
question.
find yourself in some pretty remote places.
Whoa, that view. Amazing.
Or in places where pastimes become stories that become legends.
I got one. It's a keeper. Hey, get a picture. No one's gonna believe this.
And each day ends binge watching stars and dreaming about all the things you'll do the next day.
You know what? I'm catching a bigger fish tomorrow.
Built to follow your path, the Toyota Tundra. This Texan knows how to sick 'em. Toyota is a proud partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com to check out the rugged Tundra today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at Toyota.com for feature availability.
Introducing the Sick 'em Podcast, a weekly storytelling podcast produced by Sport and Story, the content team behind Baylor Plus.
Hopefully people feel that I was approachable, but also that I knew the game.
Hosted by me, John Morris, the Sick 'em Podcast features in-depth interviews with current and former student athletes and coaches.
As a coach, why you coach is to see other people happy and successful.
Subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts. Sick 'em Bears. What year is this?
Are you ready to elevate your Waco experience to a whole new level? Look no further than the Baylor Club, where you can indulge in one-of-a-kind luxury and unwind in our exclusive lounge area. Located in the heart of McLean Stadium, this elite club offers a five-star member atmosphere for all your work and play needs. With a master culinary team and outstanding hospitality, we take pampering to a whole new level. For interest in membership or to schedule your next private event, call 254-710-8080.
Talking about these things, like how much they feel like that stuff is
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show, visiting with Coach Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian, beginning this evening. We are brought to you in part by TFNB, your bank for life, the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texans are making TFNB their bank for life by stopping by any one of their 5 locations or visiting tfnbtx.com and Sikkim Bears. Another question from the audience. Our First Place Foods Ask the Coach. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. And Casie, this is from Gail. And where is Gail? In the room. Right there. All right, Gail asked, my background is in gymnastics, where it can seem like the scoring from the judges is sometimes very subjective. I bet that's right. In equestrian, you only have one judge. Is that right?
We do in the regular season.
All right, one judge in the regular season. Does that make subjectivity even more of a factor? Can anything be done to make the scoring as unbiased as possible?
Topic of the century.
Oh, really?
It's definitely a hot topic.
Touched on a nerve there, Gail.
Yes, Gail, you got it on, nailed it on the head there. It is tough. It is a subjective sport. There is standards for judging, but still there's personal preference too and personal biases from the judges when you come in. So, you kind of hope you sell what they like that day, if you will. And it definitely is tough during the regular season when we do have one judge per meet. We've tried to kind of help balance that bias a little bit in the postseason, if you will. When we go to the national championship, there's 5 judges. The highest score and the lowest score is dropped, and the middle 3 are averaged together. At the conference championships, there's 3 judges, and there's legislation on the table right now for in the regular season to go to 2 judges. And so hopefully you just kind of get to see some things level out a little bit more. It's hard on these student athletes when they get one shot to go in there and one person to impress. And so we're definitely a proponent of us going to a 2-judge system and giving these student athletes the best benefit that we can.
That's a great suggestion. That'd be a good move. You'd be totally in favor of that, right?
Very in favor. I mean, everything comes with a cost, but it's in the best interest of them and their experience. And they get 4 minutes to go out there and make an impression, and might as well get the best average of the opinions.
That's true. Do you, I'm sure you get to know the judges because you probably see them on a regular basis. Do you know any peculiarities about those judges, what they like, what they don't like, even going into a meet?
Some of them you do. Some of them you start to know really what they're looking for, different preferences and stuff. There's a lot of judges out there. I mean, on the jumping seat, there's more on the jumping seat side than the Western, but we're talking hundreds. And so the ones that do really well in this sport, because it is a little bit different than the industry, the ones that judge really well in this sport we'll see over and over again a lot. And so you do get to know those ones quite a bit better. But we're always trying to introduce new judges into this and let them familiarize themselves with this and kind of get a feel for it. And so that's always a risk. You bring someone in that you don't know how they're going to judge. And sometimes it's a really good risk, and sometimes it's a really bad one. So we try to introduce, some of that slowly and a couple people at a time, but that's on a national level. That's on a Baylor decision in the whole NCAA organization, trying to get some new people in there.
Gotcha.
So.
And do you think you're close to maybe having more judges, multiple judges in the regular season?
Yeah, I think even potentially next year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, we definitely are. I think it's to a point now where it's going to be a conference-by-conference decision. It doesn't have to be an entire NCAA decision.
Okay.
And so what may end up happening for next year, because it is budgetary for most people, is that I think you're probably going to see it at the conference level is the highest probability. And then potentially when we're playing our non-conference meets, it may be a single-judge system. But it's moving it in the right direction, and I feel like we just got to try to make that happen.
Okay, very good. Gail, great question. So First Place Foods is this Hunn's Private Stock Pickles. That's the best question of the night. So you're going to go home with these pickles, okay? So thank you very much. We appreciate it. And remind everybody, Big 12 schools with equestrian, Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State.
Fresno State's an affiliate member
and Fresno State.
Yes.
That's it. All right,
yes.
Very good. Anybody close? Any other schools?
I don't think so within the Big 12 conference now.
Okay, gotcha.
So.
All right, I mentioned great recognition for Baylor Equestrian in the NCEA Inaugural Hall of Fame. Sam Schaefer was a member of that class, and Nancy Post was selected to the Hall of Fame. That's great.
Yeah, it's our first year to do it. 6 honorees in this first year. To have 2 of them, I think, is absolutely outstanding. Sam Schaefer's record has not been touched yet. He was absolutely outstanding. I was coaching at Kansas State when she was here, and so having competed against her for 4 years, I'm definitely really proud of her for being able to have that honor. And Nancy Post just lifting the sport here at Baylor, but also at the national level, and continues to be involved. And so definitely very glad that she's being recognized for her efforts with that.
That's cool.
So.
Congratulations to both of them.
Yeah.
And you know, by extension, that's a credit to the Baylor program also.
Absolutely.
You know, that we have 2 members of the inaugural NCEA Hall of Fame. And the NCEA championships, again, are in Florida this year.
Back in Ocala this year.
Yeah, and that's a good spot. You like it?
It is good. Pros and cons, always pros and cons. Distance is hard, but we love getting to travel too.
Right.
It's hard on the horses, but it's a great experience for the student athletes.
Very cool. Well, good luck Saturday against Georgia. That's a big one. 10:30 Saturday morning is the first meet of the spring for Baylor Equestrian, and we appreciate you being here with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you for
to see
having
you. Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian coach, back in action on Saturday morning. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Switch gears when we come back. Thanks to Coach Maxwell. We'll go indoors now. Talk basketball with Scott Drew when we come back on the Baylor Coaches Show.
Baylor Plus is the home for Baylor basketball fans all season long.
I don't sleep on game days because I'm too excited.
Go behind closed doors and experience Baylor basketball like never before.
I came to coach in top 5 matchups.
We're going to turn the tide on them. Do we got them?
Start your free 7-day trial at BaylorPlus.com and gain instant access to the full library of content.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
Y'all listen up.
Good. How you doing?
Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed: smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. And a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
Looking to connect with Baylor alums in your area? Baylor alumni can help. Looking to host a watch party in your city? Baylor alumni can get you started. Want to step out in your community and serve with other alums? Baylor alumni is your connection with the university and each other. Let's get started.
LSU and South Carolina women are about to start on the other one.
That's a big college game day there.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
We welcome you back on the Baylor Coaches Show this evening, live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. We appreciate Casie Maxwell with us the first half hour. And, folks, join me in welcoming men's basketball coach Scott Drew with us second half hour tonight. Welcome to you.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Working under the weather a little bit, but thanks for being with us.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, a little bit.
Warriors, baby. Ain't no sickness around here.
All right, no midweek game this week. Some people make the mistake of calling it a week off. How's it been? And it's probably anything but a week off.
No, yeah. You know, we get a chance to get better really during this week for the rest of the year. And what I mean by that is when you're playing 2 games a week, what happens is it's prep, play, and then you have to take the mandatory day off, prep, play, or prep, play, and you never really get a chance to work on things you need to work on. So having a bye allows you to we had 2 great days of practice, and then regrouped, and then now we're in prep mode again. But I thought we were able to really improve in some areas. And in this league, we all know that every game you can just fast forward it to the last minute or 2 minutes. But we were able to really work on a lot of game-ending situations. And, you know, one thing that is different for all us coaches is normally you have 2, 3, 4 guys that have been in those situations with you. They know what you want done, how you want it done. And with all the turnover and first-year guys across the board, I think a lot of college programs are kind of figuring it out on the fly because it's the first time. You might practice a situation, but it's a little different when it's a packed arena and pressure's on the line and you got officials and whatnot.
Yeah, interesting. So have you felt like you've made some progress this week?
Oh, definitely. I tell you, we have such a great group. It is a joy to go to practice every day with them. They want to get better. They love one another. So coachable. And you love that as a coach. So I've talked to several coaches that have retired, and they always say the same thing. What do you miss most? And it's always practice. But it has to be with the right team. Some
Right.
teams it's a little more difficult to go to practice because you got more moody guys or more energy vampires or whatnot. But we really don't. We have a great group.
You've been, I've heard you say several times, you really like this team. Not that you don't like other teams, but you really like this team. Are those some of the things that you like about it?
Absolutely, and I think a lot of that is every year as your culture gets further and further established, a player-run team is always better than a coach-run team, but you can get more selective in who you bring into your program, and then when they come in, they're just going to do what they see everyone else doing, and even though there's more turnover, the ones that return, they know what to do, and it's how we like things done.
Yeah. You didn't have a lot of returning players this year. Very few, really. One starter, Jalen Bridges. I mean, Langston is back. There's some others that were here that in different roles for you. But so many newcomers, and here we are in the middle of the conference race. Do you feel like things have gelled well with the newcomers and the returners?
Well, before the last two losses, a lot better. but again, I think it's so tough to win on the road anywhere in college basketball. And if you're ranked, you're probably losing because that's what's happened over the last few weeks for sure. But if you look at it, like there's two ways really you can go with. Since there's been the COVID exception and since there's been the two-time waiver exception, people that were going to be more competitive a year from now got players available that made them more competitive now. And then people that shouldn't be in college under the old guidelines are still in college. So, like, for instance, a seventh-year guy in college, that means your current freshman was probably in 7th grade, 8th grade when he was in college for the first. That's a huge advantage, right? I mean, like, so you can have really talented 18-year-olds, but 24-year-olds are 24, and then at the same time, we've had some great production out of Jacoby and Miro and Eve, and so they've done a great job considering like TCU will be the third most experienced team out of 363 teams.
Wow.
So a lot of 4th, 5th, 6th-year guys across the board.
You know, I was going to ask you that because I was working on that roster today, and everybody I put down on the sheet, senior, 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 and most of them transfers from somebody else, but they are very experienced.
And seniors, I think Charles O'Bannon's been in school for 7 years.
Might be right.
He's got 3 degrees and 2 masters. I mean, but I think at the end of the day, that does help to have that experience. But we have one more year of the COVID year, and then that gets behind us.
Right. TCU, the next opponent, coming in on Saturday, 3 o'clock inside Foster Pavilion. How do you like Foster Pavilion so far?
Unbelievable. I tell you, it couldn't have happened at a better time. And people say, well, you know, next year you'll have a lot more time to practice in it. So it was even worth going into this year because you really don't have much practice time. Nothing's done besides the arena. And absolutely, because why the Big 12 is so good is the home court advantages. And you know it from all the places that you used to be in. The places that weren't a great home court advantage have made arenas like we made in Foster. So now they're tough to play in. And the other arenas have always been tough to play in. So Foster really gives us a chance to protect the home court, which if you want to be successful in this league is a must.
Absolutely. And I've been parroting what you've said through the years and wish our fans could go to places, you know, and see what it's like. And now we've got one of those as far as environment.
Absolutely. It's like we come into Rudy's, you got a packed restaurant, you got a line to get in, and you go to another restaurant, no one's in there, right? I mean, you can tell
Huge
the difference. Yes.
Exactly. All right, Coach Scott Drew, our guest on the Baylor Coaches Show. Let's take a break. Back with more in just a moment. We're glad you're with us, and thanks again to our host at Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. We'll be right back after this.
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor Bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/GoGold. Go Gold and sick 'em Bears.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed. Smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. And a bridal shower is better than flowers. And a long distance meeting that'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back on the Baylor Coaches Show, let's give you our Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics health tip for the week. Don't let pain slow you down. We diagnose and treat sports-related injuries and provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike. Visit a Baylor Scott and White Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Specialist and move like you used to. I saw Mike Sims yesterday from Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, doing a great job there. And as we continue on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's with Coach Scott Drew, we've got some questions from the audience. You ready for these?
We're ready.
All righty. This is brought to you by First Place Foods. First Place Foods, ask the coach. That's a darn good pickle. Here's a question from, I don't know who this is from. Somebody here says, are you still practicing at the Farrell Center?
Actually, that's a great question, and we are, because right now with all the construction going on over at the pavilion, we usually get in the day before a game and then the day of a game, and then back at the Farrell Center. Yeah. So we don't want to interrupt them finishing everything, hopefully by early summer.
Good. Logistically, I mean, that's a little bit of a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, because you still have your training room, your weight room, everything set up in the Farrell, but we have a makeshift training room, don't have a weight room yet. We have media room, we can show film, so it's really you treat it more like an NBA venue. You practice your practice gym and then show up at the NBA arena to play there. So
that's really good.
There
I
you
like
go.
that. Good. So summer is the target date for completion of everything.
Yeah, I think this summer, hopefully, and they've done such an amazing job, and President Livingstone, Mac Rhodes, and everybody to get them to finish that in 20 months, kudos to that. So, but I would think by this summertime, that's where the practice gym, weight room would be up and running, offices would be there, and then it's great because volleyball and acrobats and tumbling can move in and enjoy their new facility.
Yeah, real plus for them. You couldn't build a house in 20 months, much less a pavilion.
No,
right?
no, that's a record right there.
Right,
so,
that's huge.
Yeah,
all right, very good. Good question. Thank you for that. Here's a question from Steve Van Wagner. Steve is right here, front and center. Who do you consider your toughest competition in the Big 12?
Well, first of all, Steve has the best handwriting around, so that's impressive. Second of all,
it's from Diana, he said.
Okay. So with that, you look at historically in the last 4 years, the 2 winningest Power 5 programs are Baylor and Kansas. I think we've split the last 4 years. We've won 2 championships. They've won 2, I think. Yeah. So you would say by the numbers it's Kansas, but with all the great in-state rivalries you have, I mean, it seems like we have a bunch of rivals.
True, and every game
and
is
not
tough.
trying to dodge it, just
No,
I mean, every game, like some people would think Texas is our rival, some people would think Kansas is, some people might say TCU or Texas Tech or Houston now. I don't know.
But all of them are tough. I mean, we've said this, and the analytics bear it out. Toughest conference in the nation, and it just got tougher with the 4 new schools.
It sure did, and couple things. One, good programs coming in, but the ability to bring in recruits because they knew they were going to play in the Big 12, I think helped them really get better. And then when the 2-time waiver went through, several of them got players eligible that they wouldn't have had eligible, which made them that much better as well.
Yeah.
So great coaches, great programs, great history, and the power of the Big 12 is helped them get to a point where I saw there was 10 or 11 Big 12 teams projected in the tournament.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
wow. Man.
Now hopefully that doesn't change at the end of the day and we get everybody in.
Yeah.
But that's the depth of the Big 12 for sure.
Yeah, it's like an NCAA tournament game every night during the regular season. Did you think going in that there might be maybe a learning curve, kind of a ramp up for the new schools coming in?
Well, I think if you didn't have the 2-time waiver thing and then you didn't have the COVID year, usually it takes you bring in a freshman and by their sophomore, junior, senior year they produce more and more, but everybody's kind of taking the shortcut and you bring in a 5th-year senior and they have the experience and that offsets what a freshman might not have.
Yeah, but a team like UCF, new to the Big 12, and picked last in the preseason poll. I don't know how we did a preseason poll, but I mean they've got to win over Kansas, they've got to win over Texas on the road. I mean that's UCF.
Yeah.
Houston, of course, really good. BYU is really good. Cincinnati's a tough team.
Well, and I think really we shouldn't do preseason polls anymore.
Right.
And the reason is you have nothing to base it on.
That's right. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you don't know what works and what doesn't.
Right.
Who has the chemistry, who has the leadership, who gels, and putting 6-7 new guys on a team that it's hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Just how things will work.
Preseason poll is a shot in the dark, and it depends on when you take the poll, too. Are the rosters set by the time you do that? Do you know what the roster looks like?
Well, and when the poll was done, we didn't think there'd be 2-time waivers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was a huge part.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, very good, Steve. Thank you for that. Diana, great handwriting. Here's a question from Roy. Roy says, what facet of the game do you think has improved the most? Now, do you mean Baylor's game or the game overall, Baylor? Okay, Baylor.
Great question. And our turnover percentage is gone from probably 18% to 16, 15%. So we're doing a much better job taking care of the basketball. Our three-point shooting was at 47%, first in the country, and I think we're at 42, which is still first in the country, but you're not going to shoot 47 all year long. And our defense was good in the beginning. It slipped, and now it's on the way back. So, but turnover percentage would be the one that we've consistently made a good stride in.
Good. Very good.
Great question.
What facet would you like to see continue to improve?
So at Kansas State, we were amazing on the glass. You have 23 offensive rebounds, and we go to Texas, and we have 8. And we get beat, 12-7 in second chance points.
Right.
So you'd like to be consistent on the glass. And defensively, we were tremendous against K-State, and we gave up 51% against Texas. So, and I know Fran Fischel always says this, the ball goes up, good coach, bad coach, good coach, bad coach, depending. And like Texas was 9 for 11 in the first half from 3, and the 3 games before that they'd really struggled to shoot it, and I think they saved them all up for that first half against us.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Was it any easier, mentioning Kansas State, any easier or different going to be against Coach Tang this year compared to last year?
I mean, last year was more emotional, but I do like only playing against him once. And I don't know what whammy put on us from the free throw line to go 9 for 19.
Right.
So, but hopefully he keeps that office in the future.
and we'll see Grant McCasland here a couple of times
yeah,
this season.
Yep. Wish we only played him once,
Right.
just because I'd rather cheer for him than play against him. But he's done a phenomenal job. Coach Tang's done a phenomenal job, and there's a reason we had him at Baylor, and the reason we were successful at Baylor. And at the same time, we'll hope they do well whenever they play anyone but us.
There you go. Very good. All right, let's take a break. Back with more in a moment on the Baylor Coaches Show. We are live at Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. More with Coach Scott Drew after this.
No matter which road you take, the Toyota Tundra is the perfect way to navigate it. On your path, you're your own boss and set your own hours.
Look at that sunrise.
You may find yourself in some pretty remote places.
Whoa, that view. It's amazing.
Or in places where pastimes become stories that become legends.
I got one. It's a keeper. Hey, get a picture. No one's gonna believe this.
And each day ends binge watching stars and dreaming about all the things you'll do the next day.
You know what? I'm catching a bigger fish tomorrow.
Built to follow your path, the Toyota Tundra. This Texan knows how to sick 'em. Toyota is a proud partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com to check out the rugged Tundra today. Toyota, let's go places.
Last break at like 55.
See packages and options at Toyota.
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're
Mobility.
Yeah.
For a limited time, get high-performance, ultra-reliable internet from Astound Broadband, starting as low as $25 per month. And now we have mobile, too. Visit astound.com to order the #1 rated internet. Create the perfect plan with fast speeds to meet all your needs, plus get a 2-year price lock when you upgrade to award-winning gig internet. No contracts, no hidden monthly fees, and no data caps. Switch today. Head to astound.com or call 1-800-4ASTOUND. Restrictions apply. See website for details.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
You're back with us live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco, our weekly Baylor Coaches Show, continuing with Coach Scott Drew. Thanks to Crystal and the entire gang here at Rudy's. We appreciate their hospitality each and every week. Coach, we got another question from the audience. First Place Foods asked the coach from Raheem, what is your message to the team after that tough loss on the road against Texas?
Well, in this league, you got to have a short-term memory, and there's so many great highs you got to handle them, and so many low adversities you got to handle them. But you can't let the past game lead to. Then we always say one mistake can't lead to two. So if you win a game, lose a game, it's on to the next one, and you want to go 1-0 that day. We've been good this week, and we've stacked up some wins. Now we need to carry it through to the weekend.
Very good. And it's TCU coming up next, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. A couple of things associated with that game. Big game, number one. Number two, it will be the recognition of the Immortal 10 this week, the anniversary of which was this past Monday.
Well, and that's always a special time and a special game. And Baylor University's done a great job in recognizing that game and with the uniforms and tributes.
Yep, so that is part of the game on Saturday. It's also the Coaches versus Cancer recognition this week is sneakers and suits. I don't know if you're wearing a suit or not. You going back to a suit?
They want to know, do we go back to suit? I can't fit any of my suits. I mean, when was the last time we wore suits? That was prior to, that was pre-COVID. You know,
That's right.
You know how many pounds all of us coaches put on working at home?
Don't go back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to go back. I just can't find one to go back to.
Yeah, I'm not believing that. But Coaches versus Cancer this week, great initiative, you know, across the nation, and I know that's very close to you and your family.
Well, as it is for so many people. And it's a great thing that we're able to take part of in college basketball. And I know we'll have a cancer survivor at practice tomorrow and honor them. And we're all blessed, and so many people we all know have gone through the dreaded disease. And I tell you, Dick Vitale, it's amazing what he's done with his time, resources, and how much money he's generated to help fight the fight against cancer. And again, I know my mom and dad both have had it, and I'm sure everyone else knows people that have as well.
Yeah, very much. All right, very meaningful. That's part of the game on Saturday. On the floor, it's TCU, another really good team coming in.
Yeah, and Coach Dixon always does a great job, one of the best coaches in the country. And again, we've talked about it, a real experienced team. Emmanuel Miller is a founding father of TCU, and Charles O'Bannon was around during Independence Day. I mean, they got the veterans. So, and we've always had competitive games, and a lot of respect for them and their program.
Yeah, this is, when I asked you earlier about is there a ramp up for the new schools, one thought in my mind was it's just playing a tough game every night out. There's no off nights. You got to be ready to go. You're facing a good team, an NCAA team every night.
And that's why your strength coach and trainer are so important and valuable. I mean, at the end of the day, your body has to be ready to go, and it's like running marathons or half marathons. If your feet you got blisters or something, and that affects your performance, and making sure that the guys eat right, sleep right, recover right, and then have gone through the proper strength and conditioning, and that's always been a benefit too for having guys 3, 4, 5 years or older guys that have gone through it, just because that first time going through anything is a little tougher.
Right. Shout out to Charlie Melton, the job he does.
Charlie Melton,
Dave
Snyder, they're
man.
tremendous.
Yeah, those guys do it. Kind of unsung to most people, but not to you. I know.
No, absolutely
how
not.
important.
No, we know how valuable they
Very
are.
much so. Well, thanks for being here tonight. Look forward to Saturday, Baylor and TCU, and thanks for being here.
Well, everyone come to Rudy's, get a great lunch, a lot of caffeine, come with a lot of enthusiasm, and we'll try to give you a lot to cheer for. So thank you for all your support.
Philip Foster on Saturday afternoon at 3. Coach Scott Drew with us. Let's take our final break. Back to wrap things up live from Rudy's right after this.
Join us February 22nd at the Tech Hall of Fame in Waco for our next Lunch with a Legend, presented by Baylor Alumni Sports Outreach. Our special guest will be former Baylor and Texas Rangers pitcher Sean Tollison. It's Thursday, February 22nd, beginning at 11:30 a.m. at the Texas Sports.
It's also it'll be about minute 15, so it'll time out perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll give you the 1 minute when we get to it. But yeah, I'm thinking 15 or 20 seconds. Minute 15, minute 20.
That sounds great. Let me tell you something about.
Will do.
From Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed. Smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. And a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call an order of Rudy's Group Meal.
Only you can hear me, right?
Yeah. No, it's coming through the speakers.
Oh, okay.
Care with all
I'll save a joke for tomorrow. It's not bad, but
roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
Are you a proud Baylor fan? Do you love prizes? The Baylor Sports app allows fans to track their attendance across athletic events and earn rewards. Baylor Athletics wants to reward the most loyal fans, so register online today at BaylorBoldRewards.com or download the Baylor Sports app straight to your phone. Prizes this year are better than ever, so start earning your points today. And sick 'em Bears.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
And back with just enough time to wrap things up on our Baylor Coaches Show tonight live from Rudy's. We do appreciate everyone that is here at Rudy's, those of you listening, those of you watching, streaming every week on the Baylor Athletics Facebook and YouTube page. So check it out
1 minute.
Thursdays at 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time on Thursdays through the spring. Next week we'll be back. Glenn Moore will join us next week, Baylor softball coach, the all-time winningest coach in Baylor athletics. And Michael Michael Woodson will be with us next week. Baylor men's tennis. So that'll be our lineup next week for the Baylor Coaches Show. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel next Thursday. Remember, equestrian in action on Saturday. They've moved it up to 10:30 start, 10:30 a.m. at the Willis Family Equestrian Center, hosting number 5 Georgia. So if you have time, can get out and support Baylor Equestrian on Saturday. Then men's basketball hosting TCU Saturday at 3 p.m. inside Foster Pavilion. Thanks for being with us this evening.
Seconds.
Thanks again to our host at Rudy's, and good night from Rudy's.
You've been listening.
All right, bud, we're clear.
Coaches
Thank
Show
you very much
on the Baylor.
Thanks, John. I will holler at you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have you ever heard